Hello, welcome to Current Exposure. How is everyone doing out there? Let's get some eyeballs and ears into the room, the session. Okay, I see people joining. We have okay. Oh, good evening, Kanisha. Nice of you to join us. All right, so this evening we're going to have former Councilwoman Gayle Chaneyfield-Jenkins join us this evening and basically let us know, educate us on this special election, let us know why it's happening and why she stepped into the race. So I want everyone to welcome former Councilwoman Gayle Chaneyfield-Jenkins. How are you?
I'm finding yourself, Shakima.
Awesome. You're looking very lovely this evening.
Oh, make an old woman feel good. Thank you.
Very demure. Very, yes. I'm so excited to have you on. I don't even know where to begin, but and I appreciate you taking time out of your busy election schedule to talk to our audience and let them know why you're running, what's going on. I can't vote for the Central Ward because I live in the West Ward, but I have relatives, family members that live in the Central Ward.
Make sure they vote for F.
All right, let's go. You guys heard it. 4F. Let's see. People are coming in. We have Shadira McCullough Saunders. Good afternoon. She says,
Could
good
you do me a favor?
afternoon.
Could you send me the post? The link. So, because there's a couple of people that's texting me.
Yes. I'm
Texting
definitely
me.
about to get that to you. So, while I do that, can you start us off with letting us know, is this special election something normal or is it peculiar? Like, what's going on? Why? Because we're having an election at the point where there's going to be another election
In May
in
of
May.
2026.
So that's only 6 months after this election. So
Absolutely.
could you like clarify some things and demystify this, because people are like, well, are we supposed to vote again in May, or will that person
Absolutely.
win, or
Absolutely.
and why are they doing this election if we got to vote all over again? So yes, let us know and I'll get those links out.
Absolutely. One of the things that's really interesting is this is full circle for me. In 1994, I ran for an at-large position, and I was one of 26 candidates running for the 4 seats of the at-large positions. And I was one of the people who made it to the runoff that year in 1994. And in 1995, unfortunately, Gary Harris, who was the councilman at the time that was at large, got indicted and had to step down from his position. So he had an unexpired term that needed to be filled. At that point, the council members at that time, which were George Branch in the Central Ward, Hank Martinez in the East Ward, Tony Carmino in the North Ward, Ron Rice in the West Ward, and I'm missing Donald Bradley in the South Ward. And then you had the other three at large. You had Mildred Crump, Donald Tucker, and Luis Quintana. They made the decision that they would not appoint anyone to the seat. They would allow the residents to vote to fill that seat. But they did so in a responsible manner because they knew Gary got indicted, unfortunately, that April, I believe, and that November was the election for the special election.
Oh, wow.
So it was I was able to win that particular election. And again, like I said, full circle, it was myself and 8 other candidates at the time.
Okay.
And of the 8, it came down to 2 women, myself and Councilwoman Bessie Walker. And It was supposed to be seen as Bessie from the community and the Board of Education, and me from the community, and tied to New Community Babyland. And we had the election that November, and
Okay.
I was successful in winning.
Wow.
So from 2025, after 1995, I'm coming back in a special election.
So this is deja vu for you.
In more ways than one. In 1990,
Wow.
the only council person who was supporting me at that time was Mildred Crump.
Really?
Yes.
So
And in 2025, the only council person that's supporting me is Luis Quintana.
wow.
So history does have a way of repeating itself. And
Okay.
again, this race has been drawn down to by way of the media
Yeah.
and by the way of people talking, to a two-woman race. So it's allegedly between just myself and Amina Bay. And I think that's
Right.
so unfair to dismiss Jamar Youngblood or George Tillman.
And
They're
they've been working hard. You all have
extremely
been
hard.
working hard.
Extremely hard. They've been viable candidates. And like I said to Amina Bay,
Uh-huh.
uh, this is like musical chairs. Any election is like musical chairs. It ain't over
Okay.
till you sitting your behind in the chair after the music stopped playing. That's the winner.
Wow. I like
So
that
everybody
analogy.
get up and run. So in 2026, all those council people that are sitting on the platform now, they all got
Uh-huh.
to get up and run and work for the race that they're trying to win. And that doesn't guarantee, because they're an incumbent, that they'll be sitting there. Because God
Wow.
forbid any of them get into a runoff. If you get into a runoff as an incumbent, you're seen as being weak. That's not necessarily true, but in Newark, people like to get on
Uh-huh.
the bandwagon. So if they smell blood in the water,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
they go for the person who they perceive as being the winner. But yeah, so this is deja vu. The real problem that this city council has had is the fact that last year they should have appointed someone if they were going to make that
Okay.
appointment, or they should have called for the special election, which was even more important, to give the citizens a right to pick who they wanted. But they chose not to do so
Wow.
because they were
Now,
trying to make sure that they gave whoever was selected amongst the backroom deals, that person
mm,
would have an option. And I wasn't really getting into the Central Ward race, Sakina,
right.
to tell you the truth. Shakima, I was not planning on doing that right now. But from people like yourself and other people who said, wait a minute, when they tried to pull that school board switch and
Yeah.
put somebody in for the school board, it
Remember.
was like, wait a minute, now y'all really are blatant with your disrespect for the community. So
Yeah.
you just gonna shove somebody down our throats. You're just gonna turn around and put a person in that would just automatically go with whatever you say. And we have too much of that going on. This whole team concept,
The
that
puppets.
worse than puppets, co-conspirators.
Ooh, co-defendants. As Miss Austin would
Lisa Richardson Parker.
after Frank Hurts. Yeah, and Miss Parker.
Yeah. Oh,
Somebody's going
Felicia has that on her ringtone. Somebody's going to jail. It's so bad that her grandson even says, somebody's calling Aunt Gail. I'm like, no, baby, they ain't calling me. They ain't calling me to go to jail.
I
But
know
that's
that's right.
the travesty of where we are today, because it should have
Okay.
been brought to the people sooner.
Right.
And the people have the ability to make their own decisions, contrary to what this
Okay.
particular city council believes.
Wow. So how is Newark looked at with the fact that you said this should have been done sooner? How are other cities looking at us? Because I know they're laughing after the sister cities thing, but with this special election, how are when it didn't happen when it was supposed to, they didn't appoint anybody, they dragged it out. People, I think some people went to court saying that they
I was
were
there
a
with those
council
people that was
person?
in court for the Board of Education meeting. The
Okay.
Board of Education, when they attempted to try to put this in for the special Board of Education meeting election that took place this April. It
Right.
was unfair to even
Okay.
suggest that.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that all of the council people were amenable to that. But
Okay.
nonetheless, the city of Newark spent money to hire an attorney to represent them to have this done. And the Board of Education had an attorney saying, you can't have this happen. The county had an attorney from Chris Durkin in the office saying, this is going to cause chaos. It's going to cause confusion. Because at that point in time, you have 16 and 17-year-olds being able to vote for the Board of
Wow.
Education. So how were you going to have the manpower to determine who was going to be getting the petitions? I mean, getting the ballots to vote. So it just was unnecessary. And I would
Okay.
hope that the citizens, God forbid, there is another unexpired term that has to be filled because a council person has left before their term has expired, whether due to illness, whether due to getting another position, whether anything happens. I would hope that this city council and the city councils that come after me would make sure that they give it to the people to make the decision. Because no matter what, the people have to live with that representative. And whether they like that representative or not, the
Mm-hmm.
majority should be able to say, this is the person. And then if the people get somebody who they didn't want as their representative, then they have the option when that next election cycle comes for that candidate to come back out and say, I'm not going away. I'm going to be here and I'm going to run again. But
Okay.
that's what should happen.
Okay. I know you've been around you're Newark through and through. So,
Thank you.
I was gonna say you've been around
That's
a
just
long
a
time,
polite
but
way of saying it. Thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome. See, we're having a good time. We're having fun. I wish all
Yes,
the
we are.
candidates would have came on. But I wanna talk about your contributions to Newark, going back to the 90s, bringing us up to now. And what plans you have for the Central Ward. And also, I want you to do like kind of like a history lesson for some of us on Brick City and why it's a derogatory term. It, yeah, why it why it makes you do that.
You know why?
Because we don't get the history from the people who came before us. Sometimes it gets lost in translation, and I think that's very important
It is.
for us to know.
It is. And let me start with that. You asked me some other things to give my history. But let me start with the term Brick City. I think it's derogatory in its connotation. A brick is something solid that weighs you down. And I know that some people say the youth used it in the early 80s and 90s to represent the projects, the,
Okay.
the apartment buildings. Okay.
Right.
So it
Right.
was Brick City. Those of us who are indigenous, born and raised Newarkers,
Mm-hmm.
um, especially of my generation, I
Mm-hmm.
find it derogatory because I lived through, served with, and experienced when Sharp James said Newark was the Renaissance city.
Wow.
Renaissance means beauty. It means potential. It means opportunity. It
Right.
means civic pride. You
Right.
know, Cleveland was known as the mistake by the lake until
Mm.
they had the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The
Wow.
Big Apple is New York.
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana is the Big Easy. You know, Georgia's the peach state.
Right.
You
And Newark
know,
is the Renaissance.
Newark is the Renaissance. We're not the brick city. We are a thriving metropolis. We have the
Mm.
seaport, we have the airport, we have the planes, trains, and automobiles.
Colleges, universities.
We have 5 universities in the Central Ward in the city of Newark. So
Wow.
that derogatory, we have to fight against the years of the Star Ledger writing
Mm-hmm.
horrible things about Newark. We have to fight against that kind of systemic
Yeah.
downplaying of who we are as a city and why we should be proud of being Newarkers. So
Right.
that's the reasons why I reject wholeheartedly Brick City
Okay.
as a label for my city. I'm a Renaissance city.
I like Renaissance
Renaissance
too.
girl.
Yeah,
Yes,
I like that.
yes. And that's what we should be pushing to our young people.
Wow.
They
I,
need that
I
hope.
remember. I remember the Renaissance Mall that was being built, and then the developer stole the money and ran off. But we ended
Oh,
up
that's like the
getting
Halo building.
no, the Renaissance. Remember?
No, I'm saying now we're dealing with the Halo building, which is
Oh,
going to follow in the footsteps of the Renaissance building.
oh, it's not going to be a part two. I hope they know that the people will be out there, but instead,
They ran out of money. That's why they haven't completed that project yet.
oh,
They didn't build that
now,
with union labor, so it came off horrible.
wow,
And
wow.
that's another thing. Why don't we learn from our mistakes?
Right, right. Because I was gonna say with the Renaissance Mall, Sharp James fixed that because a lot of people
No,
criticize him. It
it
wasn't
didn't
him
get
that
fixed. No,
that
no, it didn't get
wait,
fixed. It had to finally get torn down.
it's the Prudential now,
Yes,
which
but
is way better.
it laid vacant for years. It was
Right,
a
it did.
eyesore. It was horrible. But it was yet again another developer who came to town promising to do so much and got bamboozled. The council got bamboozled. God bless the
Mm,
dead. Marie Vellani negotiated for the guy to paint City Hall's dome. So what we got out of that was
wow,
the gold-plated look for City Hall's dome. But the
wow.
building never got completed. It was an albatross around whatever was going to happen in Newark to show Renaissance. So all those years it lay vacant and barren on Broad Street in a prominent area.
Right,
And the
it stuck
Halo
out.
building,
And we were waiting, like, when is the mall opening?
those council people and Mayor James was asking the same thing. It just was a travesty, a misuse of public funds. And that's when we should learn from our mistakes.
And that's where you would come in because you would know how to deal with this Halo thing. Because
Listen,
that's in
I'm
the Central
praying.
Ward. That's
I am prayerful. I'm not a wizard. I can't see into the future.
right.
But I am prayerful that with all of the mistakes that happened and occurred around that building when we did not have qualified union leaders, union members fixing that
Oh,
building, and that the architectural drawings and stuff, I'm praying that that building does not fall down like Jenga, the game
ooh,
Jenga.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
terrified of that building, and I'm prayerful that I'm mistaken, and I'm
Wow,
hoping that I am.
wow,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So
So,
it's sad to see that, but one of the things, like I said, we were worst in Newark Housing Authority 3 times since I've been an adult,
mm,
and twice Mayor James brought it back from worst to first. So
okay.
how are we back in this situation where the housing authority is getting ready to be privatized to the point where it's being taken over in receivership? We do
Somebody,
not learn our lessons.
right, and
Okay?
somebody's not doing their research
And not only
and they're
that,
not looking into
there were
history.
people who just turned around and shoved employees down there, incompetent employees, just made it top heavy. Then you had people
Uh-huh.
who weren't fixing the buildings properly. Maintenance staff was overworked, understaffed.
Wow.
So all of this, but why did it fall down from being first? And when it got to number 7, why didn't we catch it then? Well, why didn't we catch it when it got to number 10? We down at the bottom again?
Wow. What number are we? 100 and something?
I don't know, but I know it's bad enough that this is the first
Wow.
time that is talking about going into receivership. Mayor James was always able to rescue it.
Wow.
There's a distinct possibility that it might be going into receivership, and that's sad because that means that the people who knew how to fix it weren't invited to the table, and the people who were destroying it were just pigs. They were eating from the table, and they didn't care about the residents who live in those apartment buildings. So they better not come up there and start talking about, oh my God, what they're doing in Washington, D.C. is horrible to our people. What's happening from 920 Broad Street is just
Yeah. Yeah. Locally was
local.
yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what we need to focus on. Just as much as people want to turn around and throw a brick in the opposite direction at the state house or at the federal level, what's happening in our local municipalities that you have
Right.
this kind of deficit going on, where you have people who feel disenfranchised, where you have in community people coming up to the council and being told, next speaker,
Right.
get the hell
Right.
out
No,
of here.
no engagement, no interaction.
But you know when that started? That started under Cory Booker's administration.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Because before that, the council, you used to sign up on the day of the council meeting as a citizen.
Oh, I prefer that anyway. Whoever shows up, that's who speaks.
Then they limited it to 25 people.
I don't
And
like
then
that.
when they limited it to 25 people, now you have to sign up in order to get a chance to speak. But that's the residents' fault as well.
Wow. So we can change that.
Well, first of all, we have to stop accepting and normalizing when we're being disrespected.
That's true. That's true. Well,
Under the Cory Booker administration, enough people did not fight back and say, "Oh, wait a minute, Council President Crump, Mildred Crump, you're not going to limit us to 25 speakers. You're not going to make us sign up." And she wasn't the only one. They voted on it. But my thing is, it was the mindset of the Booker administration.
Okay.
And they are the ones who bastardized the process of teams. When Sharp James ran a team, when Ken Gibson ran a team, the team was people who were running for position. They put their money in to a fund that would pay for collaterals on election day and leading up to election, mailers, team literature, meals, and commercials or whatever. You did those.
Okay.
But you still spent your own money making sure you got elected. Okay.
Okay.
And once you got elected, it was not any of this, well, you can't say nothing because I helped get you elected. Or I helped raise the money.
Oh, so you got to go along to get along?
Now, under the Booker administration and then Baraka's administration just really took it to the next level.
But it's to
not say nothing.
But that could be to the detriment of people's needs, and
you don't have to worry about the developers that are giving people money. You don't have to worry about businesses that are giving people money, special interest to those elected officials. What about the executive branch controlling the legislative branch? Because I'm scared to say something because I may get sent to the principal's office. I may not be able to get something passed.
Wow.
They changed the whole process. They've even changed it to where the council president is the only one who can determine whether something goes on the agenda. That didn't always happen.
Wait a minute. So everybody doesn't put those agenda items up there that we see?
The
council president?
The way it got bastardized. That's the only way I can say. The way it got bastardized is during the Booker administration. Yet again, I'm going to tell you, it happened under that because the council president had to okay something going on the agenda. If Bessie Walker, as a councilwoman, wanted something to go on the agenda, Donald Bradley put it on. If Donald Tucker, Hank Martinez, Ron Rice, Mildred Crump, Louis Quinton, if they wanted something, if Gayle Chaneyfield-Jenkins wanted something on the agenda, put it on the agenda, let it get voted up or down.
Right.
Not that the council president has all this power. I'm not going to put it on. I'm there and I'm waiting. I'm waiting with bated breath.
Wow.
For them to do that to me. Because at the end of the day, the people of the city of Newark have an opportunity to say to their elected officials, you may have been doing that for the last 10, 15, 20 years, but enough is enough because it's not productive. Right. Just like we had to go back and look at the safety ordinance that Charlie Bell put up in 2002 when we had the senior citizens in the housing building saying that they didn't have security. Charlie Bell put up legislation that said, not only do you have to make sure that if it's 100 units or more, they have to have at least an 8-hour period in which we have an armed guard at those senior buildings. Okay. Several of the developers have gotten around that because they build 99 units, they build 106 units, and then they'll build
Oh,
like at not two Nevada, with 60 Nevada and not two Nevada, 60 Nevada, right there where West
I know
Kenny.
which one. Yeah.
So that was built by RPM. And RPM is famous for this. They'll build just under the guideline, but the property is still contiguous. So you're getting away
Right.
on the
So,
technicality, but the people are still being hurt.
mm,
So when government doesn't go back and look at legislation that was put in place that is not as beneficial to the residents as it was supposed to be, it's the obligation
right.
of government to go back and check it and correct it. When you see it's not working, why keep a law in place that's not working?
Right.
Or not
Right.
giving you the maximum benefit of what you proposed it to do for the residents.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. So, since we're talking about buildings, I know you voted against the inclusionary zoning ordinance because of I remember you said fairness there, it wasn't fair and equitable to the renters. Can you tell us about your role in that? And some people would be like, why would you vote against that? That's something, it's inclusionary. Sounds good.
Well, I'm glad you recognize it, because Amina Bay accused me of voting in the affirmative for it, and I felt bad for her because she was given that information. Okay,
Oh
she was
wow.
given that information and given the thought that she had to attack me. I'm not the only person that's running. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so to accuse me of not voting, having voted for the inclusionary zone ordinance when I was one of the people who were listening to a Felicia Austin Singleton, but I also got other developers. I spoke to professors and people who did research on the inclusionary zone ordinance and understood
Wow.
that, number one, it was never going to address affordability. Never.
It was a lie. It was oh my gosh.
A bold face, down in
What
the
it
dirt, outright bold face lie. All right. It never was, it was never going to work.
Oh my
Okay.
God. Where's Emily Akins? Emily Akins, get into the comments because we saw it in real life not work when we went to the Irby.
What's
And
the
they were
urban?
so it's an apartment complex
Okay.
by Rutgers Newark on that's Washington. I think Washington, downtown Newark. And we were like, okay, the inclusionary zoning ordinance says that you're supposed to have 20% affordable units in here. And then they said no, it was updated to 10%. So we're like, okay. So then we said, all right, show us the affordable units and how many are there. And I think there were like almost 200 apartments there, and only two were affordable. And they were studios, and the building was not even complete yet, and they were taken. And Emily Akins and I were like, how were they already two taken when the building's not even open? Who were they designated to? What process was used to reach out to people who need affordable housing to get those two units, even though it should have been more? But yeah, the inclusionary zoning ordinance was
Was the
BS.
biggest
It was
and is the
BS.
biggest 3-card Monty.
And
And I'm showing my age. You might not know what 3-card Monty means, but
is that
it
what
was a
the
game. Yes. Watching the Queen. So you trying to figure out who got one of the two units when that was already the plan when it was done. And then when they turn around and say, and it's always a sliding scale. When Allison Ladden put something up, it's this one has 20%, this one has 10%, this one has 60%. It's never the same. And why is
yeah,
that? Because it's subjective. It's not based on real formulas, and it's not based on real need.
right,
It is
right,
something to, it's a red herring to give people the impression that in order to give these tax abatements to these people, that we're getting something in return besides the shaft, and that's what we're getting is the
And,
shaft.
and yep, and the Irby got a tax abatement, and I was punching the air like, I gotta pay all these property taxes, and I can't even get my garbage picked up on time
Look
or
at
on a
one of the
designated
buildings that got
day.
a tax abatement across the street from City Hall, 990.
Wow, wow,
How is it that the majority of the people that live in there either work for the city,
wow.
related to somebody in the city? There was no lottery done with that. You have officers that may be living in there that are getting subsidized apartments.
Wow.
Going to the people who really need subsidies.
See, and that's
We got to knock it off. We got to be able to tell the truth
yeah.
and live with it. If you're going to turn around and make it for your family and friends, just say that. Be
Right, right.
Tony Braxton said,
People
be a man about it.
at least people will know what direction they need to go in after
Yeah,
that.
stop giving false hope.
Yeah.
Stop giving false hope. And I got to tell you, just going through the city, I mean, the Central Ward especially, it's very sad to see housing is at an all-time low
Yeah.
for affordability. And I remember saying in 2015 to Baye Wilson, who was the then deputy mayor of economic development.
Okay.
I said, this was before the 2016 presidential election. I said, there's a possibility that Donald Trump is going to win as president. And if he wins, he is going to change the tax codes. And if he changes the tax codes around the country, you're not going to have people who are developing low income housing because they don't need it as a tax write-off anymore.
Right.
So we have to give them the incentives to build low income housing. And that didn't happen. And so I knew that there needed to be a push for housing and not just rental properties. We need to be talking about condominiums. We need to be talking about co-ops.
Condoms.
So at least you can turn around and have some stake in the property once you're renting. Right. I've been a renter since 2010. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I don't get anything back from that. Mm-hmm. But other young people should be able to do that. They should be able to get a co-op. And we have the riverfront. Yes. Develop. We have, you putting all these people on Broad Street, the congestion that we're going to face in these communities because the planning of this city has been done so haphazardly. Right. So without thought of the people, you're putting all these people in areas and there ain't no supermarket. There ain't no food places for them to go and buy food. So now you're expanding the population for the school system, overcrowding that school system. You're overcrowding the neighborhood.
And it's all happening in the Central Ward.
Oh, it's not just the Central Ward, but it is.
I see a lot of the development.
Girl, please. These developers need to kiss my cheek.
Are they paying?
I've helped them get their permits and stuff done faster because since I've been announced as run as a candidate, oh baby, the permit department has been popping. They like
been busy.
Tear it down, get it there before she gets there, and that's sad.
That is sad.
That is sad.
Very sad. And I know
no matter who wins on November 4th, what you're saying to the Central Ward residents is, it's there now. Deal with it.
We've already gotten that from people that you guys, Sharp James and Ken Gibson, got out of office because they kept treating us like, deal with it. I don't care. Your quality of life is low. Deal with it. And you guys ran and changed everything, and then things stopped and went in reverse.
Absolutely. This city is as dirty as it was in 1985.
It is very dirty.
Men are being treated like crap. The police department, fire department. Look at City Hall. You can't even go in there and find workers. Since COVID, I think they still hide now.
Wow.
You go in City Hall, it's like a ghost town.
Yeah.
Employees do not come to work. And when they come, some of them are so nasty to the residents. Some of them don't even answer phones. They don't want to be put back to work, and that's sad.
Wow. That is.
Because the residents deserve better. And when we came in as people of color, we were supposed to do better.
Right. Excellence. Excellence was supposed to be maintained. There's no excellence right now.
No, Cory Booker's administration took it down, but this one has gone down. When I thought there was no basement, they have shown me bye bye. It's like they dig into Australia. They can't go low, they go lower. And that's the sad part about it. But I'm proud to say that one of the things that my candidacy is making people feel is hope. My candidacy is making people say, I got to stand up for myself. I got to participate in my own rescue. I cannot allow them to bully me, to intimidate me, to lie to me, to make me think, oh, it's just all in your head. The streets are safe. Crime is down. Where? Who?
Absolutely.
Do you feel safe in your city of Newark?
No. I
Okay.
wouldn't have guns if I did.
Wow. Well, that's the sad part about it. You know, we live in denial because we like somebody or we like the condition we're in, or we don't want to rock the boat because unfortunately this administration has been so punitive to people.
Yeah.
It's worse than, you know, people say gangs. I'm like, well, at least the gangs have loyalty. These folks don't. But it's like what they would do with the KKK. Take you out into the town square and lynch you and let your body hang up there. Yep. And so that's why you have people who are afraid to speak up because
they make an example out of you in front of everybody. Yep.
Yes, that's the sad part about it. But I'm glad to say that Newarkers are waking up. And a lot of them have been like, hey, you know what? Enough of this. Go back on the porch and play. You know, we got grown business to take care of. And enough is enough. Either you're going to deal with us one-on-one as a group of residents who want something for their city, or you're going to continue to treat us like you're going to give us whatever you want, let the streets stay dirty, let the water stay with lead, you know, lie to us about the budget and stuff like that, and treat us disrespectfully when we come to council meetings, not answering phones, having employees not doing their jobs, causing deficit. Or you're going to turn around and understand you need our votes.
Right.
You need our support. There was no way in hell that a Hector Cachado or a Don Bradley or a Tony Carino would walk the streets knowing that they had their own particular wards and not service the people.
Right.
Bessie Walker and I used to have a joke going that we would be in a beauty salon and I could have my hair in the sink and she could be under the dryer and somebody come, excuse me, Councilwoman, I need my stuff fixed. You know, there was a pride in delivering services for your people.
They do that to me at ShopRite.
George Branch. I mean, Dana was out knocking on doors with me the other day. I'm grateful to Dana Roan for her assistance, but she was out there knocking on doors. And she was like, we got to get back to affordable housing. Her and her mom championed Newark Housing Authority and affordability. We got to get back to those things because we're not addressing them. And until you can sit in a room with people who don't like you or who love you and say, what's best for the people, you're not a real leader.
Exactly.
Go back up on the porch and play.
Exactly. Now you mentioned lead. The
lead in the water. That I was accused of in 2018.
Of lying about.
Lying for publicity's sake because I was running for mayor. I didn't decide to run for mayor until after the people weren't doing anything about the water. Wow. People forget there were letters that were sent to the city saying, hey, from EPA.
And you were on the council at the time.
And so everybody got the letters.
Right.
Okay. You even had Councilman council, as well as Councilwoman Louise Roundtree, get up there on the steps of City Hall
Uh-huh.
in regards to with ministers and said Gayle Chaneyfield-Jenkins is lying.
Ooh.
There is no such thing as lead in the water. There's nothing wrong with our water.
And that was
Look at that.
that was a lie.
That was a lie from the pit of hell. But you think they ever came back and said they were sorry? Not to me,
They
but to
need
the
to say
people.
sorry to the kids. They need to
To
say
the people.
sorry to our children that got tested after that and had lead levels. And what they really need to do is start a scholarship fund for them.
They absolutely. They should say sorry to the taxpayers that $10 million got stolen from the pipe replacement program.
Wow. And now let's talk about that. Now, whatever happened to those people that they threw under the bus saying that they didn't change out the lead service lines, and
they said Donald Jackson and you guys were lying that it was being changed from the curb to the house. And everybody kept saying it was not being done.
Donald Jackson went faithfully to those council meetings
and went live in the street. Donna went in the streets.
Right.
And other people were saying it, and it was dismissed. Oh, that's just Donna. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Other people don't know what they're saying. You know, there's no remorse in this city anymore from some people. When you do something to people to hurt them, you're supposed to apologize and fix it so that you don't do it again.
Right.
There's no consequences for people who steal our money and are able to still do business in this city.
They should not be allowed to do any business. That's it.
There's no consequences for employees who break laws, break rules, and there's nothing that happens to them. You have employees who sit up in council meetings, stealing time, and are allowed to sit there. Even the incident with me at JFK.
Oh, yes. Wait a minute. We got to talk about that because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And
I've always done stuff. I helped bring Rosalind Holmes Grant, Judge Rosalind Holmes Grant, and Pamela Goldston, and I were charged by Mayor James to bring the American Cancer Society Breast Cancer Walk to the city of Newark. And we did. And it's been here subsequently since then. And I'm proud of it.
And I love it.
I'm proud of it. I'm sorry that the American... It's growing. But the American Cancer Society asked us to do it over here. And then the women from suburbia, they was all happy and stuff like that. And then it got too black. Yeah, the fraternities started coming out.
Wait, but I love the
men started coming out, the teams started coming out, and it was good for the city, and it's still good for the city.
Yeah,
ourselves. We don't need them, but I'm just saying, I'm proud of the fact I helped bring that here.
The black crew still comes out because
it affects our families more disproportionately than it does women in suburbia.
Exactly. And I love it. And even so many people in a city participate.
Yes.
And I love the city shuts down and everybody's there at the breast cancer walk.
Yes, absolutely.
And I like how we come together around that issue.
Absolutely.
And we should be like that around more issues, but that has a special place in my heart. When I see that, I love it.
Well,
it makes me feel good about being a Newark resident. I didn't know you played a part in that.
Oh, yes. Unfortunately, I've lost family members to breast cancer. So Mayor James knew it was something dear to my heart. And he asked Judge Rosalind Holmes Grant and his public relations person, Pamela Goldston, and we spearheaded that. And we made sure that it was successful, and it has remained in Newark. And I'm so happy to have participated again this year. I hadn't participated in a couple of years, but I was out there this year. And to see the overwhelming crowds, the mothers, the fathers, the sisters, brothers. I'm just so impressed to see that many men at those walks.
Yeah, the men.
not
Yep.
just in their bodies, but they're dealing with their wives, their sisters, their mothers,
Yep.
their
Absolutely.
daughters. They should be educated about breast cancer because they got to be there to
Absolutely.
help their loved ones through it.
That's true. And thank you for bringing that too. And also, I don't know if you were a part of this or not. I'm not sure, but let me know when United Airlines
Did their inaugural
they,
flight to Cuba.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I work with the unions. There was a guy, William Lee, Shamari, Lionel Leach, um, so many union leaders. Gail Muhammad,
Oh, shout
Tom
out to
Giblin.
Gail.
Yeah, Tom
Yes.
Giblin, Sue McCleary, the folks from St. Michael's. When I helped save St. Michael's Hospital, I got a chance to work with the unions. The unions are the backbones of the city of Newark as far as labor, and we've
Mm-hmm.
not done a great job working with the unions. And I look forward to trying to implement some programs that will bridge the gap between government and the unions better than it has been in the past. There was a time
Okay.
that, J.J. Johnson and James Benjamin and those folks from the Teachers Union, Curtis Grimsley, Lorraine Martin, all those folks,
Wow.
Tommy Caponera, those people.
Wow. You know, a lot of people, a lot of history.
Yeah, because unions help make decisions on not only the economics of Newark, but the politics of Newark. They were very
Okay.
strong, and we need to make sure that we re-engage them at the level that they should be and could be. A lot of
Okay.
those union guys and families, their kids are going to college and aging out and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we have our children who haven't gotten their foot completely in the door. We've had a lot of great breakthroughs, especially with somebody like Eddie Osborne,
Oh, yes.
the
Yes.
councilman, our labor champion, and Charlie Bell, who was also our labor champion, him and BJ Walton and Art Tucker, all those people fighting to make sure things happen. Wayne Richardson, those people. We need to make sure that we create a seat at the table for our children.
Okay.
And make sure, ILA, you had Bernard Dudley, you had Jerry Owens, you had all those Al Sonatas, you had people like that were part of the labor movement, Manny Rod, Tariq Muhammad. Those people, they engage us
So
back
what,
into,
right now, this union now, I see the city union. I
oh, they're
thought
horrible.
I
They're
thought
horrible.
they came to the council meeting. I thought they meant business. They got on the mic. Then after that, I never seen them again. And I'm like, people are coming and saying they're suffering. I'm like, where the heck is the union? They're paying union dues
I
and not getting union services.
I had the opportunity to work with some really brave union leaders that worked for the city during
Mm-hmm.
the time frame of 2016 when Mayor Baraka's administration switched the city of Newark employees into a package of health insurance that was not favorable to the employees.
Wow.
And the union members from the fire department, the police department, fighting for their union representatives, union employees. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm sad to say that the unions in the city of Newark aren't standing up for their employees the way they should be.
Right.
And
Right.
that's because of the comfortability that people are
Oh.
experiencing. If you don't mess with me, then I won't say anything. Give my people whatever you want to give them. And that's sad.
Wow, that's like this saying in business school where they tell us about getting comfortable. Don't be like the frog boiling. It's the parable of the frog where the frog is in a pot and he's comfortable. He's so comfortable. You turn on the fire, the water starts boiling. He's still sitting there. He's not even jumping out to the point where the frog is boiled to death and he ends up dead. Now, had the water been hot, before the frog got in, he would have jumped out. But this is where I'm seeing these unions too. Like you
Absolutely.
said, so comfortable that you don't know you're killing yourself and the people
And
that you're
your members.
representing.
And your members.
Yep.
It's sad that you feel as a union that you can't step outside and be forceful in the demands that you make for your employees.
Right. Right. City council got raises. They voted for raises. Why can't the employees get livable wages? Some people are in there making, I heard they got them on part-time, working part-time. So they don't get the full 40 hours just so they can save money.
And they don't get
And
the benefits. It is a travesty that we have some people who are considered seasonal employees, who are considered
seasonal for a 4-year term, that's already seasonal in itself. How much more seasonal can you get?
yeah, yeah,
Like, they're volunteers at this point.
yeah, that's the problem. They're not getting
Wow.
health insurance benefits. There's no way our
Hmm.
garbage men should not be having health insurance. That is one of the most deadliest jobs between the police department and the fire
Yeah.
department. Our sanitation workers put their lives at risk. They don't know if they're going to stick their hand on a garbage can and pull out a hypodermic needle that may be full of AIDS or full of drugs.
Right.
They may cut themselves or whatever. They're
Yeah.
working with
On a can of tuna
ineffective
fish.
equipment. You
Right.
know, to not give those men health insurance.
Wow.
In the
They're
face.
doing a dirty and dangerous job. They
In
need
the
and
rain,
they
sleet,
need to
and
be
snow.
paid.
In the rain, sleet, and snow. And you got some chicks sitting up there in City Hall filing their nails or reading the newspaper. If they
Wow.
connected to somebody, they got health insurance and other people don't. It's
That's sad
disrespectful on so
because
many levels.
I didn't know our sanitation workers were being treated like that too until I seen a young man go live. He was the only guy on a truck beating up his body,
That's
jumping on
devastating.
and off of the truck. Cars were beeping and they were being so rude and I felt so bad. Like, this man is trying to clean up our dirty city.
Yes.
You know, what do you want to, you don't you want to run him out the way? Like, what?
Yes.
But yeah, the unions definitely low quality. But I wanted to ask, is there anything that I missed that you want to share with the listeners and viewers? Because I know I'm running out of time and I know you're very busy and I appreciate you giving me this time too. And I know it's going to be hard to catch you again.
I thank you for the opportunity.
You're
welcome. I'm not quite winding down yet. I have several coffee clutches planned between now and Tuesday.
Wow.
Going into homes and speaking with 15, 16 people, 10, 5 people at a time. I'm still barnstorming, baby. This ain't over till it's over. People have said to me, "Oh, Gayle, you got it." No, you can never take this for granted because you have to push through because that's what the people expect. And at the end of the day, I know I ran a good race. I know that I left it out on the field. And I'm just prayerful that the residents of the Central Ward will find me worthy of the test to be their woman. Because I ask God to do that every day. Make me worthy of the test.
Nice. Wow. And
I specifically glossed over when you said to me, "Give me some of your accomplishments," okay? And I'm proud to say I have a lot. Okay.
I know you got
listen.
You got a curriculum vitae, not a resume.
I got a curriculum vitae. I got a story to tell, and I'm going to tell it. But one thing I would like to say is that, given the opportunity, I am going to make the Central Ward folks proud of me, the Central Ward residents. But if they think that I'm coming up there and I'm just sitting with my twiddling my thumbs, I got legislation already ready. I got plans, and the Central Ward is gonna be on fire.
Wow. Wow.
We gonna be burning it up.
Nice. Newark Renaissance. Newark Renaissance.
Yeah. So make sure everybody
I like the
remembers
sound
vote
of that.
for F. Gayle Chaneyfield-Jenkins.
All
I'm
right.
asking humbly for your vote. Central Ward. Thank you. Thank you, Shakima.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, babe.
Very, very welcome. Anyone with questions in the comment section, ask them now because
Also, before I forget, in addition to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, there are commercials on television now on BET, Fox,
wow.
CNN. Look for me during the playoffs.
Wow.
The commercial with Councilman Quintana, myself, and residents. I didn't get the formal endorsement from the elected officials, but I got the endorsements that counted. I got people
From the people,
from the
from the
people from the
community.
Central Ward, from all over, but mostly from Central Ward residents who said, "We trust you, Gayle. You have leadership we can trust, and we expect you to bring it to the full front on November 5th."
All right. All right.
Thank you, darling.
You're very welcome. No one seems to have any. Oh, hold on. We got Ed Johnson the fourth. He said, "Let her tell what happened at the senior event with the police." Oh, do you have time for that? Because I did ask you about that earlier. Because you know what? I watched it and I was like so disgusted because you went up to the mayor and he could have said, "All right, guys, chill out, relax. This is an event. She's a senior, she's registered. Let's all just have a good time." And that's it. But he was like, oh, I don't know. I wish you would have put his face on camera.
The words was enough. I don't know. I don't know what's happening, but you guys fix that.
And they kicked you out. They said, if you don't leave,
they said
they're going to shut the event down. Why would they do that?
Well, prior to that, Marquise told the young gentleman, the police, not the police officer came last, but he told the guy that was from Pro Form Cops. He said, "Drag her out of here."
Wow.
Now, the gentleman in that video and the gentleman with the yellow cap that works for the city with recreation, and then the police officer that came subsequently, and then this last guy that came from Pro Forma, I think his name was Rosario, because I remember seeing
Mr. Rosario. Yeah, I felt
all
so
of those gentlemen were putting in awkward positions.
Yeah,
and they should not have been subjected to being put in that predicament. Marquise overstepped his boundaries as a city employee. Wow. And whether he was told to do it or not, just to even tell somebody that they have to leave a public building or a public event that I registered for.
Right.
That I was registered and entitled to go. I'm 66 years old. Okay. I could have been there.
Phenomenal woman. You look phenomenal for 66.
All right, I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna Venmo you the money.
No, it's some beautiful people in Newark. I had Mr. Tillman on too, and he was handsome, Mr. Youngblood.
Yeah. It's sad though that it happened, but I'm glad that people got a chance to see. We're all gonna stand up, and we're gonna continue standing, and we're not gonna take the bullying, the intimidation. We're not gonna take the disrespect anymore, and enough is enough.
So
we're gonna die on.
Did you really not get to enjoy the festivities in the mill after that?
No, I got a chance to eat. No, I'm gonna tell you right now. Councilwoman Browntree was sent by the mayor, and he said to please, go ahead and sit down. I was already sitting at that point because I was determined they were gonna earn their money that day.
Right. Okay? Right.
Everybody was gonna earn their money. Because they was gonna have to drag me out because it was the principal at that time.
Right, exactly.
Just the lack of the disrespect that was not warranted, and the lack of respect that was not given to me. I've never been disrespectful like that.
Right. Like how do they bring the trashy politics to a community event.
But why does it have to be trashy? There's been plenty of times that Mayor James or I've been in places where somebody ran against me. Hell, I mean, when Darren Sharif and I ran against each other, when I got my HEFS money, I was trying to give Darren Sharif $25,000 because he does coding up there at the Urban League. Politics is not supposed to be this animosity that goes back and forth.
Personal. Yeah. It gets
you don't have
too
a right
personal.
because you're on the administrative side that controls the money to turn around and tell me I can't do something. And the legislative side, that's where the council people get it mistaken. The mayor proposes, but the council proposes. So if the council doesn't vote on something, it doesn't get done.
Wow. We need more no votes.
To bring that up and even say to me at one point in time, if you don't leave, we're going to shut it down and all the seniors are going to suffer.
That was sad. I was like, when I heard that,
all
like
these people out. But let me tell you something. The one thing I've learned and know well enough, you weren't gonna put all them black women out that doggone building, and they hadn't eaten yet too.
Oh, that's why they changed their tune.
Plus, I wasn't guessing, and that's what we all have to do. We have to stand up as Newarkers and say enough is enough. If we want respect, we have to demand it, but we also have to give it.
Exactly. But thank you for that. I'm sorry for keeping you over time.
No,
but I appreciate
it. Thank you.
I appreciate the comments, everyone. This was former Councilwoman Gayle Chaneyfield-Jenkins running for Central Ward in the city of Newark. The election is November 4th, 2025. Early voting has started, and it is
November 2nd.
Okay, so and everyone has
until open 6 to 8 on November 4th. And again, I ask everybody humbly that live in the Central Ward to please vote for Gayle Chaneyfield-Jenkins.
And what's the
trust?
All right, and what's the 4F? Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you as well. Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Have a good night.
You too, babe. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, people. Ed said this administration doesn't understand that it's business, not personal. They can't separate the two. You're right about that. Volunteers. Ramon is willing to volunteer to help the campaign. I'll make sure she gets that message, Ramon. Ramon asks for volunteers, but thank you all for joining. This has been Current Exposure. I will see you all next week. Peace. I'm out.